Hello, welcome to HCC Movie Makers Academy Movie Reviews. I'm Erik Calderon.
And I'm Trey Dixon, and the two of us just saw Kelly and Cal. Kelly and Cal is the feature debut from director Jen McGowan. It stars Juliette Lewis, Johnny Weston, and Sybil Shepherd. The story follows a former punk rocker now living out a disenchanted existence as a suburban housewife. Soon she strikes up a friendship with a disabled yet free-spirited high schooler, and through each other they end up learning something valuable about themselves.
The film was shot in New York City on an Alexa Plus, Aries Alexa Plus, with a budget of, I'm not sure at all because I couldn't find any information, but I'm guessing around $500,000 to $1 million. The director, Jen McGowan, did a wonderful job directing the actors, telling the story, and I would say just overall, it's very, very well put together. I personally did not like it at all. I think the film would be really, really good for film critics, but not so much for movie goers, people that want to be entertained. A lot of social issues, marital issues, and life issues, which I guess makes for good drama, but not for so much for entertainment. What do you think, Trey?
Well, I liked it. I did like it, and I don't know if you're criticizing it appropriately, because I don't know if you can really properly criticize a movie for its subject matter. A movie is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say that it's certainly not flawless, but you know, I appreciate that this movie feels like it has a beating heart. Over the last few weeks, we've watched movies that just feel soulless, and it was really a nice change of pace to watch something that felt like people who really wanted to make a movie made this movie.
It was Jen McGowan's debut film, right?
And I haven't seen any of her short films. I know that some of her other short films had won some awards, and for this film, she won the Game Changer Award, the South by Southwest Film Festival, which is an award you get for sort of tackling taboo subjects, and they certainly touch on that kind of stuff with this movie. You see, you say that it's a movie that's not going to be entertaining to the audience.
Yeah.
Well, it really boils down to what you find entertaining.
Definitely,
you know? Yeah. It's like comparing two different movies. A while ago we saw Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes.
That is
very entertaining.
It's a very entertaining movie, but it's easily digestible. Yeah. On the other side of the coin, a while ago I saw Jonathan Glazer's Under the Skin, which is the new Scarlett Johansson movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one yet.
Well, that movie
I heard it's very slow.
It's very slow and it's very tough to digest, but I'm rewarded by the experience. It challenged me and it put me in a position where I was kind of struggling with the character, and that's kind of what this movie was. I was sort of struggling with these characters, and I was trying to figure a few things out. At least my brain was working when I was watching this movie. Yeah. So I really just boils down to what you find entertaining, and
I agree with you that.
I very much respected this movie in that aspect.
Yeah. Well, I think the characters, the actors did a great job with the characters, and you know that part I didn't have a problem with, but I did think it was boring. And sitting through it, I mean, I got up a few times because I could, you know, and the pace was very slow. It wasn't one of those films where you sit down and you get sucked into the story.
There are some parts in this movie where it's just slow and there's nothing to hold your interest. But it's not always like that. I think that the relationship between Kelly and Cal is the best part of the movie, and it's fitting that the movie is titled Kelly and Cal, because those are really the most involving sequences. I think that Juliette Lewis is great. And I've never really seen a movie where she gave a performance I didn't like. I think she's a really great actress, and I'm glad that she's taking the lead in movies. She's got a lot to work with in this movie, and she really gave it her all. And Johnny Weston. I know a couple of weeks ago we reviewed The Giver, and I was talking about how I didn't think any of the kids in that movie had any longevity in their careers to come. And
I remember that well.
And Johnny Weston.
And I disagreed with you.
Yeah, well, I'm very sure that we'll see more of Johnny Weston. I don't think we'll see any more of those kids, but I think that Johnny Weston has it in him to have a long-lasting career.
Yeah, he was in Chasing the Mavericks, right?
Chasing Mavericks,
Chasing Mavericks,
and he was good in that film, and he's very good in this. Challenging performance, both physically and emotionally, I thought.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I think the actors had a big challenge. I mean, I think that was a very challenging performance that they had to give, and just the emotions that they had to deal with to portray those emotions was pretty intense.
Yeah, no, they really.
Those are good actors.
They really dug deep, and I'm pleased to see that somebody was actually caring when they made this movie. It was nice to see somebody actually care when they were making a movie.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that because I'm just so used to watching movies like this summer that have no substance.
Yeah.
And this movie is very conventional, but it's also substantial.
Yeah.
You know, if I have a complaint about this movie, my biggest complaint is the script. It's not a bad script, but I could tell where everything was going. At no point was I surprised by anything. I could pretty much tell the entire plot beat for beat before the plot points even happened. Very conventional, but I felt like it was handled well.
I thought it was too simple. I mean, I thought it was based only on her, you know, and her issues and her having these problems.
I don't know about that.
And I think the story failed to show the husband's side of it, you know? I mean, because it made him look like a good guy.
Well, you see...
And he's not a good guy,
well,
you know?
Well, and there's nothing bad about his character in the movie. I mean, he's not very present. Yeah. But that doesn't make him a horrible human being.
No, but there's some issues, I think, that could have been brought out in him to... You know, I think it's almost as if it's making the women look a little crazy, and... Oh, let me get that.
We'll just cut that out.
Yeah, we will.
We'll cut that out.
I have no idea.
What statement did you start on?
So
you were talking about. I felt that the husband's side could be brought out a little.
Yeah. So back to that, right? I think the husband's side could be brought out a little bit more. His issues. I mean, the director and the writer kind of made him look like too much of a good guy, and he's not.
Well, I mean, he's a good guy. I mean, he's not a bad guy. He's kind of a neutral character. But you see,
but I think that's where it fails.
Well, the crux of the movie is sort of weighed on the relationship between Kelly and Cal, and the husband is really just a mechanism in Kelly's life, much like how Sybil Shepherd's character is merely a mechanism in Cal's life.
Yeah.
They're just there to serve those two characters as part of their individual lives. The real story is between these two characters, hence the title of the movie.
Yeah, but the movie is so slow that adding some of that issues with the husband would have picked up the pace a little bit. I mean, I would have found it a lot more interesting if it was, okay, yeah, it is Kelly and Cal, but in the end, it's not. In the end, it's Kelly and her husband.
I didn't feel that, I wasn't particularly concerned with whether or not the husband and Cal's mother were used appropriately. I thought they were written well enough. They didn't necessarily serve the plot in any other way other than to provide conflict on Kelly's part and to sort of provide support in terms of what Cal's been going through. I didn't mind how they were fleshed out, but the plot itself, beat for beat, it was very conventional.
And then also, you know, bringing up the mother and the sister, right?
Oh, yeah.
Mother and sister.
That's
I mean, Jen did a really good job of bringing out the sister's issues too. You know, I mean, she had some issues, and there was a part in there where she was like, well, "You've got the perfect life. Why can't you be happy?" You know.
Well, those characters were sort of There were another thing I didn't really like because they were so cookie cutter to me. I felt like
I thought they did a great job.
You know, it's.
I mean, we see both sides of the fence. We see like the woman that's got the perfect life, doing everything she wants to do, but she doesn't have a family. And then you look at the other side. I mean, I thought that was really excellent, and I enjoyed that part. It was like, but it's almost as if Jen McGowan doesn't understand the issues of men, and she's only focusing on the issues of women, and she leaves the men alone.
That's a decent point, but really, my concern with Kelly's mother and her sister is that they are sort of served to like very blatantly antagonize Juliette Lewis's character, and that was.
But those are the social issues that I was talking
well, I mean,
about
it wasn't a social issue. It was that they are oppressing her, and it was very blatant. It was.
And that's what really happens in real life.
She's very disenchanted by her existence because she has her mother talking down to her and her sister talking down to her, and the way that sort of enlightened the audience that she's not doing well, that she isn't really liking the life that she's living. I felt that was really blatant and really just hitting you over the head. So that could have been a little bit more subtle, the way that those characters sort of expressed their qualms. But I think that like I've already said, I think that the movie's strongest aspect is this really nice relationship that Kelly and Cal have.
Yeah.
The taboo subject, of course, being what is it really? It's a young high schooler.
High schooler with an older woman.
With an older woman, yeah. It's sort
was
of,
that the taboo subject? I thought it was.
I guess.
I thought it was more. To me, it didn't look so taboo. What looked taboo to me was that she's married and just had a kid, and she's off going out with another guy.
Yeah, with a much younger individual.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's.
And he's crippled. And he's disabled.
That has nothing to do with it. That has nothing to do with it.
Well, I think it had a lot in building the story about the issues involved in being disabled.
Being disabled has I don't think.
And how people feel sorry for.
I don't think that having a relationship with a crippled person is taboo. What?
No, well, I think that the subject on why she falls into that relationship.
Oh, because she feels sorry. She feels sorry for him, perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she's also very lonely, and at the beginning of the film, you sort of discover that her husband isn't really looking at her anymore. He's always at work. She feels underappreciated, so she strikes up this friendship with a young high school student who happens to be disabled, and pretty soon things turn a little inappropriate.
And that did add some interesting parts to the film.
I like the drama that they explored there.
Yeah, I mean that was good. I mean, I just thought it moved very slowly. It was very boring, and it's not a movie that I would go see for entertainment.
Yeah, I like movies with a slow pace, but there needs to be something that you can grasp onto.
Yeah.
There needs to be something that you can sink your teeth into, sort of follow along. And a lot of the slow aspects of this movie are like her walking from place to place, her being by herself, having a dramatic moment that's sort of already been established prior. Yeah. It's there's stuff like that. It's like I said, it's not perfect, but the best part is the relationship between her and Cal, and the movie feels like it was made by people.
I enjoyed the cinematography.
Yes,
I think
it looks very good.
I think they did a great job, and they had a little bit of camera movement in there.
That was
almost planned camera movement.
Well, no, it was very kind of handheld, very gritty, very lifelike. And I was telling you when we were watching it that it really looks like a debut film.
Yeah,
it looks like somebody's making their first movie, and I like that, because when you see a directorial debut, it always has that very lifelike quality to it, and that's something that I like about first films. As directors get more and more work, that slowly begins to disappear, but I like that quality of this.
It was nice,
yeah.
And then I went online, and Jen McGowan's website has some films that she made before.
Yeah.
And I saw all those films before watching this film, and I was a little shocked at the turn that she took, but there was still, like, she made a 20-minute film that still had some sexual kind of story behind it.
This movie is very sexual in nature.
Yeah, it's very sexual in nature, but the films that she made before, I liked them a lot.
Yeah.
And this one, I think it slowed down a lot. And maybe because of the length that she's trying to get into now, with feature-length films. Short films, I mean, she did an awesome job with this young boy going through puberty, and that was an amazing film.
I haven't seen it, but that sounds like something that she would be really good at, judging by what I've seen in this movie.
Yeah.
I know you haven't seen American Beauty all the way through. American Beauty is currently my favorite film, and there is a part in this movie where they very much rip off American Beauty, and I was kind of reminded of American Beauty throughout the entire movie. It doesn't really tackle. If you want to watch a movie tackle social issues that are very prevalent in suburbia, I would recommend that over this. It has a long way to go to be something that has everything that you would want in a slow moving kind of, something that it has a minutia that absorbs you and kind of makes you interested in everything about these characters. And I can see Jen McGowan making something like American Beauty. but she still has a long way to go. But I'm very pleased with her first film.
Yeah, it was good.
I hope she makes more movies.
So to summarize, I think I would give the film probably a 2.5 to a 3.
Okay, we gotta fix this. You're so you've been praising the movie sort of, and then you go and give it a 2. There's something wrong here.
Well, I mean, overall, like I think the overall film as an experience, I would give it a 2.5 to 3. Okay. There are many parts in it that I liked.
When you review a movie, you need
cinematography and on director style, but overall, as the experience, I would give it a 2.5 to 3.
When you review a movie, you need to learn how to eliminate your bias. It's important to sort of view the movie for what it is and give it the credit that it deserves. Like, honestly, I would give it a 6.5.
Okay.
I would give it a 6.5 out of 10. A 2 is way too low. A 2 is like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Transformers.
Really?
Bad.
Well, we see I think that's what makes us so different because I like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And Transformers, man, that was an awesome movie.
I like the films of Stanley Kubrick, but I don't like Barry Lyndon. Mm-hmm. I very much appreciate things about Barry Lyndon because it has Kubrick's trademarks, but I can eliminate my bias and recognize that it's not as good as his other films. 2, really?
Yep.
All right.
So you give it a 6.5?
6.5.
Well, that's not.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. 2.5.
If you get the chance, go ahead and see it. It's not particularly enlightening, but it's a nice film. And if you like Juliette Lewis, definitely see it because she does a great job in this movie. So 6.5 out of 10.
What's it got on Rotten Tomatoes?
It's got like a 61%.
Oh, I guess that's pretty good though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd still give it a 2.5. Yeah. I wouldn't recommend going to see it. Okay. We love films. If you love films, please contact the Houston Community College Filmmaking Program. Talk with Erik Nitzberg. Sign up for a class. We're brought to you by the Houston Community College Filmmaking Program and by ACC TV.
If you'd like to see this full review, visit us on YouTube and feel free to subscribe to our channel. Thank you very much.
Okay.